one more week of dieting in 2 days for the rest of my life.
What's up guys and welcome. You are watching Fazi Fitness. So let's start this video with the craziest amateur physique at the moment. Only a few more weeks. And Elliot Durant, he is most probably gonna be an IFBB pro. If I'm not mistaken, there is just one man in the entire pro league, Andrew Yacht, who has those striations on his lower chest in the front lat spread. And to think that this is a 5 weeks out update of this year's NPC Nationals, that is just mind-boggling. Not to mention his conditioning from the side. That looks even better. He looks desert dry at this far out of the shoe. How can someone have so much muscle and such mature look to his physique just at the age of 26? I have to say Elliot have insane genetics and he is gonna be a true freak in the pro league. I'm sure many of you guys will be curious to see how his back looks because in majority of the cases, it is the back that is the lagging body part. So Elliot did post a back shot in his story. And I have got to say this type of conditioning, that should be appreciated by everyone. Because we do not see the same, even on the Olympia competitors. So I for one cannot wait to see the final package in 5 weeks time at this year's NPC Nationals. So the next Open Pro show, Romania Pro, that is scheduled this weekend. And all of the heavy hitters, they have already checked in. So this is gonna be the first show after this year's Mr. Olympia. And Rafel Bal has lots to prove here because he is the highest placing guy from the Olympia weekend. So Rafel Bal and his camp, they are claiming that he is gonna be 260 pounds on the stage. Now I think there is always a little exaggeration and every bodybuilder does that when it comes to his weight. In fact, looking at his most recent updates, I won't be surprised if Rafel looks a bit smaller compared to the Olympia. Because they really went hard, especially in terms of conditioning for this one. And they are trying to make up for that Olympia look, bring in more separation, more detail. So I think he's gonna compromise some size to bring out that extra detail. Now we have to keep in mind, Rafel Bal looked really impressive, especially from the front at the Olympia this year. But he was kinda soft in the glutes and the back area. And yet again, he hasn't posted any back shots during this prep as well. Now, it is very simple for Bal. It is his show to win, as long as he nails his peak, as long as he comes in condition. Because I think if he can bring that Arnold Ohio version to this year's Romania Pro, he is gonna win this show pretty handily. But that being said, we have seen it happen this year, that his physique, his body actually gets worse when he is tired. Because the same thing happened from Ohio to Brazil, where he narrowly escaped the loss against Tony Burton. So who is gonna be the dark horse at this year's Romania Pro? It can either be Emir or Christian Wolski, as he has been super impressive in every single show that he has done in this entire year. But Emir can make all these guys, including Rafel Bal, look really soft, because no one can compete with that guy, especially in terms of conditioning, because he is always bone dry and absolutely ripped. Next up, we have an update from the former 7 times Mr. Olympia, Heath. So many people believe we won't see a win like Heath in the near future as the Olympia champion because the Olympia title, it has kept on changing hands almost every single year since Heath retired. Now it is so crazy that Heath hasn't even been training his legs and yet they look so detailed and so separated. And it wasn't just the lighting that made his quad look super impressive. Phil legit has so much detail on that physique even though he has been retired since 2020 for almost 4 years now. So would Heath have broken the record of Ronnie Coleman if he did not chase that extra size because of Big Ramy, of course, as we all know he was coming in hot. I personally think that he did not need any more size than what he had in 2011 or 2013. He would have kept on beating all those guys because those are some of the greatest looks, not just in Heath's era, but some of the best bodybuilding looks of all time. The Olympia wasn't very exciting when Heath was a champion, in a sense that everybody just knew that if Heath is on, if he comes in at his A game, everybody else is just fighting for that second place. So just compare that to post Heath era. Even looking at this past Mr. Olympia, where Samson Dauda and Hadi Cbum, they were tied after the prejudging. So from the fans' perspective, it is so great to have that uncertainty on who is going to be the next champion because that brings so much more excitement. Now, that being said, Phil Heath is a living legend, one of the greatest of all time. So we all know that Fazi made it official that he's gonna make a comeback in 2025. Now, can we expect to see the GOAT of the 212 class, Flex Lewis, the 7 times 212 Olympia champion, back on the stage once again? Now, if we strictly speak about it competition-wise, then there is just no chance Flex is going back to the 212. So what's there left to achieve there? He has already won 7 of those titles, and that too for 7 straight years. And the only thing Flex was unable to do back in his prime was that he was unable to compete in the men's open bodybuilding, especially after he retired in 2018, and he was getting ready to compete in the men's open Olympia the very next year, or maybe in 2020. Now, I have got to say the chances of that happening, they are literally zero at this point, because the main reason he pulled out of the Olympia, despite the fact that he was given a special invite, was that his body just wasn't responding to so much food which he had to consume in order to get bigger to grow into the men's open class. Just look at how Hardy and Derek dominated the Olympia in 2022 and 2023, and in terms of weight, they were the lightest guys in those lineups. So whoever advised Flex Lewis not to compete in Miss Olympia 2019, they made such a grave mistake that I believe Flex Lewis will always regret, because that was his biggest chance of cracking top 3 at the men's open Olympia and even potentially fighting for the title. Now Flex Lewis lost a lot of muscle during his recovery time after that tricep injury that happened sometime this year. So he is now just enjoying training and eating a bit more, and the man is loving his current look. So all the fans of Chris Bumstead were hoping that he is gonna win his men's open pro debut in Prague this year and do Miss Olympia next year in the men's open Olympia. Then they should listen to this clip from his latest YouTube video.
1 more week of dieting in 2 days for the rest of my life. I'm never dieting again. Said that to Courtney, I'm never doing another diet again. I'm over it.
So Cbum has been bodybuilding for almost a decade now, and he is just so done with the dieting. But all the credit goes to him for giving it back to the bodybuilding community, giving the fans what they wanted to see. Just imagine this for a second, what the bodybuilding media would have been talking about if Cbum did not break the internet by announcing that he's doing Prague in the men's open. So he is now 1 week out from possibly the last bodybuilding show of his life. Regardless of where he places, this is gonna be a show to remember for. No surprise at all that Prague is all sold out, and the entire bodybuilding world that is just so excited to see this new look of Chris Bumstead. In Valier, that is probably the only one who has seen the real physique of Chris Bumstead in this post-Olympia phase, and him picking Cbum to win Prague. That, I have to say, is a really bold pick. So hit the thumbs up button if you liked the video, and smash the subscribe button if you wanna come back for more. Thanks for watching.